Now, I've only been playing for, I don't know, about 2 months. I'm not sure. I lose track at this point. So when an event like this comes back, it's really exciting for me because I get an opportunity now to earn units that I've previously missed. And from what I gather, this is something that Raid doesn't really do. Let's talk about it. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen of the tribe, to another video with me, your bald-headed boy Scribe. How the devil are we doing? You guys are looking beautiful, by the way. That's right, you heard it here first. We are back in Raid, ladies and gentlemen. Apparently, I finished off one of my Arbiter missions. I better go ahead and collect that lickety-split. Oh, and this one too. I'm a talented individual, what can I say? I'm sure I'll be able to get that done. All right, ladies and gentlemen, if you have noticed, logging into the game recently, there is a brand new Skeletor chase. Now, this isn't actually brand new, and that's the interesting part. These chase events happen usually as a one and done situation where you are able to get yourself a legendary character just by logging in every single day. But before we jump into that, let's talk a little bit about what new accounts can get if they sign up through my QR code or the link in the description down below. If you go ahead, scan that QR code in the top right corner over there, or top left, my top left, your top right, who cares? Anyway, you will be able to get yourself a Tholin Foulbeard straight away as soon as you sign up. You are also going to get yourself an additional 3 epic characters. That's right, every 10 levels at level 10, 20, and 30, you'll be able to get yourself some more units. Level 10 will give you Stag Knight, level 20 will give you Ugo, and level 30 is going to give you Tagore. These units combined will give you a phenomenal head start to the game. If you then use the code Wrath, you'll be able to get yourself the legendary unit Grandoak Porik. If you want to see a little bit more about him, check out my video guide linked right now. All right, away we go, ladies and gentlemen. The Skeletor chase then. What can we say about the Skeletor chase? As I was saying very briefly at the start of this video, usually what happens, these are once and done chase events that you never see them again. So it gives me hope, because I was never around for this He-Man Skeletor collab. I wasn't around for the first part of it, so I missed it completely, which means in the future, we could see the return of previous chase events, and I could catch up on legendary heroes. So if you were a previous player, or if you were a returning player, or a brand new player, this is a great opportunity. All you have to do in order to unlock Skeletor is super easy. You just sign in every day. And as you can see, we're actually getting free perception gear, 6-star epic level perception gear. And on day 5 and 6, we're actually getting legendary 6-star gear. Perception gear is actually really dope. And getting them at this high level of stars, as well as high level of rarity, is really huge. I love this. Really hoping I get some speed boots out of this, because as we know, speed is king in turn-based games. Alright, so you just log in once a day, boom ya. Day 7, you get a free Skeletor. Apparently he's had a little bit of an uplift in his kit as well, a little bit of a buff, a little bit of bottom fluffing going on over there, you know what I'm saying? We're going to go ahead and check out his kit in a minute. And then if you keep on logging in for another 7 days, you will get a 2 red star. 2 red stars, ladies and gentlemen, on your Skeletor. After you've done all that, it'll go into phase 2, where there's going to be daily objectives that will push you along to earn even more stuff. You'll get an avatar over here, a bunch of giveaways, as well as an additional soul. And then right at the end, boom, 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 you can go all the way up to 5 stars over there, ladies and gentlemen. And as you can see, you can also get a primal shard over here. So pretty freaking dope, if you ask me. So shall we go ahead and take a look at not only Skeletor's kit, but also how he was buffed. So here we are, legendary Skeletor. He is a Spirit Affinity and a support type from the Knights Revenant faction. So his A1 Havoc Scythe used to be attack 1 enemy 2 times, each hit with a 75% chance of increasing the duration of a random debuff on the target for 1 turn. It's okay. Doesn't seem anything special. 2-turn attack, double attack, on his A1 is okay. Extending debuffs is quite good, but 75% chance, yeah, it's not a lot. So what is the update then? Attack 1 enemy 2 times, 75% chance of increasing 2 random debuffs on the target by 1 turn, so doubling up over there. Each hit also has a 75% chance of decreasing the duration of 2... Each hit is also got a 75% chance of decreasing the duration of 2 random buffs on the target by 1 turn. So increase the debuffs, decrease the time on the buffs. Pretty useful. Not bad for an A1. A2 attacks one enemy. This is the original. Has a 75% chance of placing petrification debuff on the target for a turn. If they're a boss, place a 50% decreased attack debuff for, and a 30% decreased speed debuff for 2 turns instead. Bosses, I believe, are always immune to petrification, so that's good. Whenever petrification debuff is removed or expires, there is a 50% chance to place a 30% decreased speed debuff on that enemy for 1 turn. That seems okay. It's not too bad of a standard ability, but in the updated new world, it is a 75% chance of placing petrification debuff on the target for 1 turn, and also has a 75% chance of placing a 50% decrease attack debuff and a 30% decrease speed debuff on the target for 2 turns. So it's basically doing the same thing, but it just doubles up against non-boss targets. This is a very mild buff at best, I would say. Then you've got Begone Fools. Place a 50% increase accuracy buff on all allies for 2 turns. Everybody loves a bit of accuracy up, guys. Everybody likes that. Accuracy is vitally important to try and land all your debuffs. There is also a 75% chance to steal any block debuff buffs on one random other buff from each enemy. Okay. Then decreases all enemies' turn meter by 15%. If an enemy is from the Telerian League, decrease that enemy's turn meter by 30% instead. So what is the new one, ladies and gentlemen? The increased accuracy is still there. The 75% chance to steal any block debuffs buffs also now takes 2 random buffs from the enemy team. I like this. Being able to steal buffs is rather great. And the rest of it seems to be the same. Finally, what have we got? Whenever this champion attempts to place a debuff, steal a buff, or decrease an enemy's turn meter, or increase the duration of a debuff on an enemy, increase this champion's accuracy by 20 for each buff on that enemy. Whenever this champion is hit, it has a 40% chance to place a 50% decrease resistance debuff on the attacker for 1 turn. This chance increases to 75% against champions from the Telerian League. Fair. What is the improved version? Whenever this champion attempts to place a debuff, steal a buff, decrease the enemy's turn meter, decrease the duration of a buff on an enemy, or increase the duration of a debuff on an enemy, you gain 20 accuracy. So we've just basically had the decrease the duration of a buff. That's added into the loop to gain additional accuracy and stuff like that. Also, whenever this champion is hit, there is a 50% chance, so an extra 10% chance to place a 50% decrease resistance, but also it goes up to 100% versus Telerian League champions. Additionally, if this champion loses 30% or more hit points from this attack, there is also a 25% chance to place a petrification debuff on the attacker for 1 turn, increased to 50% versus champions from the Telerian League. Overall, decent, little bit situational, I would say, but a decent buff to Skeletor overall. And the fact that everybody's getting him for free, can't really complain too much now, can we? Not only that, but we also have He-Man returning. He is on the champion path. Now, unfortunately, you will need to have the Forge Pass in order to unlock him, so I'm probably not going to be getting myself He-Man. From what I hear, He-Man is actually a really, really solid AoE attacker. Well worth getting, don't get me wrong, but unfortunately you will need to have that Forge Pass for it to unlock on your account. Let's take a look at He-Man's kit then, just to see what he will bring to the table. His A1 over here, Eternian Slash, attacks 1 enemy and places an extra hit on enemies from the Corrupted. Also fills this champion's turn meter by 10%. Fills the turn meter by an additional 2% for each buff on this champion. Damage is based on attack and hit points. Booking him up is just adding more damage to this attack, going up an additional 30%. A2, Luminous Cleave, attacks 1 enemy before attacking, places a 50% increase attack buff on this champion for 2 turns. It will ignore Stone Skin buffs, which is useful. If this attack kills an enemy, fills the turn meter of all allies by 30%. Damage, once again, based on attack and hit points. Nice, we like the increased attack. That's going to help his basic as well. If we go ahead and book this guy up, we're just getting additional damage as well as a decreased cooldown, taking it from 5 turn cooldown to 4, which is decent. And I gained some tournament points, which is also decent. Next up, I have the power. Attack all enemies. The damage inflicted by this skill increases by 10% for each buff placed on this champion before this skill is used. Stacks up to 500%. Not bad. Resets after this skill is used. If you go ahead and book this up, once again, you're getting an additional 20% damage and the cooldown is reduced by 1, bringing it from 4-turn cooldown to a 3-turn cooldown. Passive ability then, Master of the Universe, increase this champion's attack and hit points by 5% for each buff placed on this champion, up to 50%. Place a 25 strengthen buff on this champion for 2 turns at the start of each round. Also places a 25% strengthen buff on this champion for 2 turns whenever an enemy's HP drops below 50% after this champion's attack. He is immune to petrification debuff, which is useful because everybody and their mum has got Pelops at the moment. So cool, also helps versus Skeletor, I guess. That's true. It's also got an aura over here, which is increasing speed in arena battles by 28%, which is decent enough. I'm sure some people will probably use this guy in arena. I'm sure he'll be super, super helpful in places like faction wars, being able to quickly clear out AoE attacks, waves of enemies before they have a chance to pick off your weaker units. Just means you're going to get better progress on your faction wars overall. Overall, seems like a pretty solid champion. Overall, I'm really happy to see these events come back, man, because it means I have the opportunity in the future to get, past chase events come back potentially to help flesh out my roster a little bit more. Everybody loves this. Let me know, what are your thoughts in the comment section down below? Are you going to be springing for He-Man? Are you going to be using Skeletor in any of your upcoming teams? I want to know. Like the video before you leave, and I will see you all in the very next video. Peace out and big love.